Hello, everybody. This is Zach said it again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and it's an honor for me to be here with the principal trombonist of the Roanoke Symphony Orchestra. He hosted and led a Christmas concert for the Roanoke Symphony Orchestra Holiday Brass that came to perform for us uh, right before Christmas at the beautiful Millwald Theatre. It's an honor to have my friend Jay Crone on the phone with me again. Thank you so much for being with me, Jay.
Oh, it's a pleasure and an honor to be with you again, Zach.
And your holiday brass has become an annual part of the Christmas tradition for many of us here in Wytheville. This is the second year in a row that we've had the pleasure of having you perform on the Millwald Theatre stage. We're glad you like Wytheville enough to come back 2 years in a row, or three
Well,
years
well
in
we
a row
cer-
actually.
we certainly do. It's a real privilege to come and play for folks who are enthusiastic and really excited about hearing live music. It's a privilege for us to do it, and I know that folks really value that the opportunity to hear live music.
In places like Wytheville, we certainly do, and to have the Millwall Theatre open in recent years as a performance house is a real gift to us. And you really were Wytheville's Christmas miracle, if you will. We were scheduled to have the full Roanoke Symphony Orchestra travel from Roanoke to Wytheville for a holiday pops concert uh, that wound up being canceled due to inclement weather. And they called and said, "Well, we're not doing the show, but the holiday brass is nice enough to come in and do another show for us. So thank you for doing that and really making our Christmas."
Yeah, it was our pleasure. As you mentioned, the the full orchestra got snowed out, and right after that holiday pops with the entire symphony, after that run ended, uh, we went into the holiday brass rehearsals and a run of shows, starting that Friday in Roanoke at Cave Spring United Methodist Church, and then we were in Lexington on Sunday and Blacksburg, Virginia on no, Lexington on Saturday and then Blacksburg on Sunday, sorry. And then we were able to extend our run one more evening to come out and make up that concert. So I'm glad all of that worked out. That was David Crane from the Roanoke Symphony making that happen with the director of the Millwald Theatre. So it was our
Well,
pleasure.
God bless David Crane and Donnie Bales, who is the
Right,
executive
exactly.
director of Millwall Theatre. I have to tell you, Jay, that 2025 has been a particularly trying year for me. My dog, who was mine and my wife's first baby, we had her for
Right.
12 of her 14 years, and we had to put her down in March. And then on October 26th, one day after his 83rd birthday, my father passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that. Those are real losses, and yeah, so I
And
know how you feel, and I sympathize.
well, I was telling you that to say that I was not feeling very Christmassy at all this year, just because my father was such a huge presence in my life, in all of our lives. Um, in fact, if I could digress for just a moment, one of your very dear friends at Virginia Tech is my second cousin, Miss Jane Harrison.
Oh yes, yes, Jane's wonderful.
And when my father passed away, we asked. My father did not want any clergy at his celebration of life. He wanted it to be completely family dominated. So we asked Jane, being the class act that she is, to officiate uh, the ceremony. So she offered a eulogy. Her sister Carol offered a eulogy. I offered a eulogy, and his brother, who was a fellow law enforcement officer, just as my dad was, offered a eulogy. So we were very grateful to have Jane, who is, as you know, a real class act to handle that for us. And I know that she put a free music festival on at Virginia Tech for over 40 years. So
Yes, she did. She ran the Summer Arts Festival on campus, and she was the booker for all that. She got all the bands together and promoted it, and did a wonderful job. And it was a real, the way she ran it for all those years was really spectacular, and the community really valued all of her work. She worked at Virginia Tech, I think, for 49 years. She started when she was 17 or 18.
Yes,
and she was going to make 50, and she said, "Yeah, what the heck, I'm done." So she was a great colleague. We miss her.
indeed. And you made a joke at the concert. You said, "I have been at Virginia Tech long enough to receive free parking." And
Right.
I would say you and Jane are one of the few people who have been able to achieve that in your careers, and both of you are such a great asset to that school and to the New River Valley community. And
Well, thank you.
we're grateful
Our
that you
pleasure.
we're grateful that you can spread some of those gifts to us in Wytheville. We're most appreciative.
I know the symphony is really interested in expanding down that way, and it's part of our service area. And I know the Roanoke Symphony is very interested in bringing concerts and more musical activities down that way. So
Well,
we're happy to be part of that.
they're scheduled to do a Fourth of July a patriotic concert, not a Fourth of July because it's going to be in June, but a patriotic concert with the full orchestra in June, and we're thrilled about that. And this past summer, they went to our outdoor Elizabeth Brown Park and played to the whole park was full of people, and it was a great show. And so we're grateful for what the symphony does for us here in Wytheville.
Well, the town values those sorts of events, and your leaders there, your arts leaders, your elected officials, all that. It's really great to do that. And there's a lot of towns up and down the New River Valley who do the same sort of thing, and I think it's a great thing to have those community events.
Well, in addition to being an excellent trombone player, which you are, an instructor to some of your wonderful colleagues who were playing with you, all of which were superbly talented, and I want to get into that to talk about some of the other people who played. You're also a wonderful master of ceremonies. You have a very intelligent sense of humor, and really officiated the programs and the spaces between songs with some very enjoyable banner. For instance, when you were introducing A Rose Without a Thorn, the King Henry VIII composition, you said, if you'll excuse my paraphrasing, when King Henry VIII wasn't preoccupied with chopping off heads, he was actually composing music. He probably should have done more of that. Life would have gone better for him and better for everyone around him, probably, if he had indeed done that. And, when you were talking about this oculist that traveled and was it through Germany? Was that where they were?
Yeah, they were. He was an English eye surgeon, self-proclaimed, and went around and he operated on Bach. And a few years later, and Bach did not survive much longer after the operation. I think it was probably cataracts, an eye surgery that nowadays would be easily managed. And
long before the days of laser beams.
That's right, right. And then a few years later, he had George Friedrich Handel had the great misfortune of running into this same quack eye surgeon, and Handel in England didn't last much longer after it either. So, yeah, he, as I mentioned, he single-handedly ended the Baroque.
Right,
So,
right. With his and of course you performed aria in F major by George Frederick Handel,
yeah,
and then we get into uh, the Christmas portion of the program, um, which as I said, I was not feeling Christmassy at all with the loss of my dad, and I had committed to it, so I was going to do it, and Donnie was kind enough to give me the tickets, so I wasn't not going to go, but
right,
I wasn't, overly enthusiastic about it,
right.
and then I get out to my van, and the lift won't work, and I'm thinking, well, here I am out in the bitter cold. My lift doesn't work. It's just not meant for me to see this show because I got canceled out of it the first week, and
Right,
I just thought I'm not going to make it at all. Just
right.
forget it. And my friend tried it one more time, and it worked. And I said, well, I'm out here. I'm going to go. And it was just enough. The whole show was an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes. It was just enough to get me excited for Christmas and grateful for the family that I do have left. I have a wonderful wife and a beautiful daughter, and it it was the first time that I felt like, okay, it's Christmas now. So
Wow.
thank you for giving that to me. Because
Oh, well, it was, that's kind of what we're supposed to be doing,
mm-hmm,
uplifting people's lives, and that kind of programming. Uh, Myself and the other musicians in the group, we spend a lot of time thinking about the programming, which kind of holiday music we'll play, whether it's sacred or secular, Christmas carols or secular pieces, from movies and television shows, and then also, some music that uh, fits the season or in terms of joy and passion, and a lot of times that's music of the Baroque era of Bach and Handel and others. But there's so much great music out there, and we spend a lot of time trying to curate it, I guess is what the word, and so to make people want to come back and enjoy it again, or to go home and say that was just really great. Now I'm in the Christmas spirit. So
and
that's
that
exactly what we're trying to do.
and that's exactly what happened to me, and I and you know I really enjoy the traditional Christmas carols. And you had a jazz arranger named Zach Smith. Great name. He
Yeah, right,
even
right.
spells it the same way I do, with an H. By the way, my cousin Jane spells it with a K, even though she can see my name right on Facebook. She thinks my name should have been spelled that way, so that's how she spells it.
There you go.
So, but I love the peppy, because I'm a sucker for big band and
Right.
jazz, and I love that you took those traditional, or I should say Zach Smith took those traditional um, Christmas carols, the first Noel, Away in a Manger, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, and gave them that peppy New Orleans flavor that gave me the pep that I needed for my mood, and I love the New Orleans funerals the way they do. They're playing jazz bands and people are
Right, right.
the procession is dancing its way to the crypt, and I think that is fantastic. And you even alluded to that with Just a Closer Walk with Thee, which
Right,
was
right.
a jazz uh, arrangement, which again, I thought was fantastic. Um, and then we had more um, Christmas carols in different arrangements. Silent Night, Oh Christmas Tree, Oh Come All Ye Faithful, which I should say is my favorite. And there's a third verse to that song that most people, when they do it, don't include that third verse. But I heard it in the 1938 version of A Christmas Carol, which
Right, right.
which is my favorite story of all time, and I love the different film adaptations. Um, but I always love to hear that and those different songs. But those great melodies, medleys that you chose, Christmas Crackers and Carol Fantasy, which was part of Christmas Crackers, was just it's a great way to get a lot of Christmas carols packed into one suite of tunes. So you get
Right,
to you
right.
get to hear a little bit of everything. So I thought that was an excellent choice.
Yeah, well, there's so much music out there, and a lot of it is not. Um, I mean, you can try to get things for free or get things on the cheap, and a lot of times they're just not very good arrangements. The arrangers, the transcribers, the people behind the the music were setting that up and creating a jazz samba out of a carol, or just turning something in old into something new. Those folks are
Hmm.
really terrific, and we spent a lot of time looking for those things. So I'm glad you noticed.
Well, we're already rapidly running out of time, but there are some things that I want to touch on before we do depart again, and hopefully I will have the honor of talking to you again next year if we're lucky enough to get you back in Wytheville.
Well, we'd
Um,
love that.
um, I think that I may be partly responsible for one series of selections. Um, uh, you had a segment um, from holiday music from film and television. Um, you did Christmas Time is Here, which was a popular number that you did last year, and you also did the ubiquitous Let It Go from Disney's Frozen, which my daughter
Right.
drove me crazy with a few years ago. But in going back, I am crying, missing those days that she's spinning around in her Elsa dress and singing Let It Go. And now she's doing Taylor Swift in these more than skimpier outfits that I do not approve of. So it's like, let me go back to the Elsa days. Um, and and then you did, but there's the medley from How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Welcome
Right, right.
Christmas, and You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. And last year there was a program of a list of songs, and
Right.
I was not I was not meaning to attack anyone. Um, with the symphony, it was a great show, but I said I was looking forward to hearing those numbers, and I hate that they didn't get on. And then you get on stage and say, I got yelled at for not doing this last year, so we're going to get this medley in. So I thought, oh, I've stirred up some trouble. But
Well, I meant that in a loving manner.
I,
Yes,
I
you were
did,
exactly right. It was there on the list. We just didn't get around to doing this. It's sort of a tricky arrangement.
and
But we got to
and
it this year.
and this year there was no program, no suggested list, and I thought, oh, I've really upset some people, but I did not. That was
Yeah,
not my intent at all. But if I helped get the number in, then maybe I did something good. So,
you did. You did. You encouraged us to go ahead and learn it. And there's very tight windows of rehearsals, and sometimes some things don't go as planned, and so yeah, it's always sort of a tentative list. But we were really pleased to get that chart in our book, as we say, and we'll keep it in the rotation. It's a great arrangement. We hope it comes back.
I did not mean that as a slight to the group at all.
No, it wasn't taken that way. No.
Fantastically talented group, which I would like to discuss a little bit. In addition to your very talented trombone playing, we also had the principal trumpeter for the Roanoke Symphony Orchestra, which is your friend Tom Bithell. He was with us last year.
Right.
And then there was Jason Crafton on trumpet. And man, most of them, you said you were the only one on stage with one instrument. Most everybody played a bunch of stuff.
Right. Yep.
Then we had Juan Barrios Rodriguez, a Virginia Tech musician who arrived in Southwest Virginia by way of Florida and the Dallas Brass, who performed both on the French horn and the E-flat alto horn.
Right.
And rounding out the quintet was tuba player Will Divers, and he teaches in Botetourt County Schools. Now, did you work with the Marching Virginians?
I did way back in the day.
Well, my
first 10 years at Virginia Tech.
Okay, all right. My friend Gerald Goad was a drummer and cymbal player for the Marching Virginians, and he is now the clerk of court in Carroll County. But his goals were to. I went to school with him at WCC, Wytheville Community College, 2-year college here. His goals were to go to Virginia Tech, play for the Marching Virginians, and then come back to his hometown and become an elected official. And he did every one of them, one by one, just boom, boom.
Well,
boom.
good for him.
But his time with the Marching Virginians was one of his favorite times of his life, and I just that the music department you have at Virginia Tech must be incredible. If those gentlemen that you play with every year come to perform for us, you must just have an incredible legacy.
Yes, we have wonderful faculty and wonderful students, and it's been a great place to work.
And you're certainly a part of that legacy. I want to pitch, as I did last time, there is a very famous orchestra conductor. His name is Stuart Chaffetz, and he has created a program, a symphonic tribute to Phil Collins and Genesis, and he goes around with the different local orchestras and creates a program. And I have been begging him to come and bring that to be a part of the Roanoke Symphony Orchestra. I think it would be a fabulous program. I went all the way to Raleigh to see it with the North Carolina Symphony, and it was it was incredible. And I think, and I also saw a Tina Turner program with the Winston-Salem Symphony, which was also fantastic. And being an old rock and roll guy, I just love seeing how you can take rock music or anything at all. Like if you're a country fan, there's a Dolly Parton one that goes around the country. You can take anything and translate it into symphonic music, and I think it's just unbelievable what can be done. And these shows with the Roanoke Symphony Orchestra, or if you get a chance to go to Virginia Tech and see you guys perform on a smaller scale, anybody out there should absolutely do it, because it's unbelievable the talent that you all have. I mean, there were 5 people on stage that whole time, and you guys were playing anything basically that would fit into your mouth. You were playing it.
Right,
and
right.
it really is amazing. And year after year, like I said, I'm getting spoiled because it's getting to the point that if I don't get to do that every year, I'm not going to feel like it is Christmas now. So you must come back so that.
Well, we plan on it. Either the full orchestra or the brass. So we'll be back.
And either way, I will be happy. And
Okay.
and is there anything you want to say, Jay, that I have not allowed you to say in my yammering on?
No, I've got to head out shortly here for a post New Year's party. But yeah, in closing, I would say, we just really appreciate all the love and support we get from all the patrons in Wytheville when the orchestra comes and for Pops concerts or when the brass are there. It's a great place to be. The Millwald is great. It's just terrific. We really enjoy it, and we're very, very happy to be part of your holiday season. We really enjoy downtown Wytheville. It's beautiful, and we hope to be back.
Well, please do come back, and thank you most of all for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with me. It's always an honor, and look forward to seeing you again next year, hopefully. And do stay in touch if there's anything I can do with you for you all in the way of the newspaper and publicity here, or even in Blacksburg. Just please let me know.
Oh, I will. I really appreciate it. When you see Jane, say hello to her for me, and
I certainly will.
Seeing you again.
All right.
Thanks, Zach.
Bless you, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.